All right, now we will summarize what we've learned in this module. A confidence interval approximates a population mean by giving us a range of values that likely contain the population mean mu. In the general form of the confidence interval is sample mean plus or minus the margin of error. That's probably a good thing to write down somewhere in your notes if you haven't already. To say that we are 95% confident that the population mean falls within our confidence interval really means that about 95% of all confidence intervals computed this way will capture the true population mean. Also, we can use a sample mean to build a confidence interval as an estimate for mu. There are two possible cases. Suppose the population standard deviation sigma is known. We check the conditions for use of the normal model. Conditions. First is the variable must be normally distributed in the population where the sample size is large enough. In other words, n greater than 30. In this case, the confidence interval has the form x bar, the sample mean, plus or minus the critical z-score times sigma over the square root of n. Suppose the population standard deviation sigma is unknown then we use the sample standard deviation s as an approximation for sigma. So instead of sigma here, you'd see s. We also check the conditions for the t model. Conditions are the same. The variable must be normally distributed in the population, or the sample size is large enough, greater than 30. In this case, the confidence interval has the form, almost the exact same thing. It's still x mean or x bar for the sample mean, but now it's plus or minus the critical t value instead of the critical z-score times the sample standard deviation s instead of sigma, but still over the square root of n, the sample size. Also, when using the t model to find the critical value, we need to select an appropriate number of degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is n minus 1. As we have seen with the other confidence intervals, the width of the confidence interval is twice the margin of error. The smaller the margin of error, the more narrow the confidence interval, and the more precise the estimate of mu.